Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are form checking the subscribers. So we are seeing if you guys have good form with your Olympic lifts, and we're just going to break the lifts down, and I'm going to do some drawings on the screen and just kind of go through some of the lifts. I'll give these lifters who have submitted their lifts some cues, some constraints, some progressions that they can work on, and hopefully you guys who might have similar things that you might be struggling with or you might find in your own lifting, you can benefit from this by trying to see what's going on in other people's lifts, and that can be quite a useful video for you guys. So that's what I'm going to get into today. If you would like to submit your videos for a future form checking subscribers, or seeing if the subscribers have good form, then please feel free to send me a message on Instagram and just send me a DM with a lift. It doesn't have to be 10 lifts, just has to be 1 or 2 videos. That's probably going to be the easiest, and make sure it's around that 80% mark so we can kind of see, how would you normally lift with a little bit of intensity, 80% or above, and make sure it's HD, so obviously we can use it for, for the videos. Okay, so we should be in. There should be the video behind me, so it should look nice and neat. We're just going to get stuck straight into the first lift. This is going to be pretty interesting. Some of them I have seen, and some of them I haven't, so it'll be interesting for you guys as well to see kind of like my raw reactions. And if I need to draw on the screen at any time, we can do that as well, so we can highlight stuff. So first things first, Ali is doing some clean and jerks. Oh. So we'll just focus on Ali's cleans for this set. I think that's probably going to be the easiest thing for us to work on and break down. What I'm noticing is as he's lifting, he just has a lot of weight on his heels. So what we want to do is try and address that and try and get Ali to stay more midfoot, which is going to allow him to drive the bar up and avoid that excessive pull back. And pulling back does work for some lifters. It depends on the context. It depends on what the coach is trying to get out of the person at any time. So I'm not saying pulling back is completely wrong or it doesn't work. It obviously depends on what you're working on at that point in time. But in this scenario, when there's a lot of weight in the heels and he's wanting to drive the bar backwards, we want to instead try and focus on using the knees and hips to explode and propel the bar up in that second pull. So sometimes when lifters have done lots and lots of deadlifts, they tend to want to use the back a little bit too much rather than using the quads, and it ends up being quite a lot of weight behind you, which is just something I noticed with some people who are switching from powerlifting to weightlifting. And then something I noticed in Ali's jerk is he just tends to have just kind of maybe learning where to put his feet. And I think what I find helps a lot of people when they're learning, obviously, the split jerk is still focusing on driving hard with your legs. So in that dip and drive phase, obviously we want to really try and focus on propelling the bar up and driving it off our shoulders. So maybe just something like a controlled dip so that you can work on driving the bar hard, so that, we want to try and get this front foot out a little bit more. And then often I find that the back leg, sometimes the heel on some lifters ends up completely flat on the ground, or the back knee is completely straight, it's fully locked out, and then as a result the back might arch or take some more weight. So we want to just try and let this back knee just absorb a little bit of weight, and that's going to help a lot. So we want to try and get this front foot out more, but obviously the only way you're going to be able to do that and achieve that is if you finish your drive in the jerk. But overall, Ali has pretty good mechanics. We just need to iron out a few things. I recommend hang work to try and correct that balancing issue inside the cleans, and then obviously just looks like a bit of practice for the jerks. Next up is Annie. She's working on some split jerks here, and we're just going to break those down. Obviously similar things I might point out in from Ali's split jerk into this one, but we'll just have a look, see what's going on. Okay. Yep. Oh, that's moving around. So I'd say this is for Annie, I think it's around, she said it was around just over 80% or around that 85%. So obviously what we're seeing is a little bit of, maybe tightness or just struggling with the position for getting the bar, back behind the head. But the back leg, if we can try and get that heel down so that there's not as much weight on the front foot, it will make it a lot easier to feel solid in this position. As you guys can probably see, there's probably a lot more weight, coming forward, where we want to try and feel just a little bit more balance. I watched a video, there's a video with Lu Xiaojun, and he explains it quite well, how he explains there's like a nice triangle happening when you move your front foot and back foot in the split jerk. I'm just drawn all over this screen. Let me just, So as you can see, when Annie lands in that jerk, the knee's starting to come over the toe. And now what we want to try and work on is try and really exaggerate that drive so that we can actually get the feet to move. And you probably know this, you've probably seen it in a bunch of videos, but if you struggle to get the feet to move where you want them to go and you find you can't get the front foot out, then you really need to focus on driving that bar off your shoulders, which is going to make the bar feel weightless and give you that time and opportunity to actually get your front foot out. So that's what's going on in this one when I can see where she's landing. But then when it comes to the actual dip and drive phase, there was something I noticed when I watched it earlier. So you guys, I'll be able to point that out to you now. You can see that as she does her dip and drive, there's actually quite a lot of weight on the toes, and she hasn't actually fully locked out her knees, and the heels are already pretty much off the floor and already driving. So something that I want you guys to keep in mind is we want to try and keep the weight flat and feel balanced when you go for your jerks, and try and keep your feet as flat into the ground as possible so that you can actually drive and be very efficient in your jerk, so you can translate all that leg power and strength into the jerk, which is going to help you get your feet to move where you want them to. So hopefully that helps your jerks. Okay, next is another lifter, Jerry. So we're just going to have a look at his lifts now. So he's doing some cleans in the backyard. Ooh, bit of the arm bend. I should probably just let them run rather than keep pausing and analyzing. Just how I coach lifts. That was definitely better as far as keeping it closer. Got to try and stop moving this mouse. Okay, I can see what's going on here. All right, so that's enough. Let's go back to the beginning and have a look what's really happening with Jerry's cleans and hopefully see if we can help him. Okay, so when it comes to Jerry's cleans, what we can see is his position here, as far as his back position, he's actually really good. His setup's nice, his arms are staying long, the bar is close to his thighs, so he's doing lots of things right. His feet are flat into the floor, but what happens is when Jerry gets to just above his knee, instead of relying on driving through his legs, you can see he tends to tense up through his arms. That was a horrible circle. That wasn't any better. He tends to tense up a little bit through his arms, and that takes so much speed away from the bar. And obviously now you're starting to engage your arms a lot earlier, but I'm not just talking about an arm bend to pull the bar in towards your hips to help you with propulsion. This is, you're taking away the power out of your legs and you're starting to use your upper body to lift. So what we want to try and do is keep the arms long and then focus on swooping the bar into your body and using your back and lats to actually, keep the bar close. Let's have a look on the lie lifts and see what's going on. So, that kind of jumped a bit. Let's just skip that one. Yeah, so just a little bit slow in that actual drive because the arms are working quite a lot, and hopefully you guys can see that and you pick that up on the screen. Now, when it comes to this one, okay, it's a little bit of an awkward angle, but we'll deal with it. So if we can get him to look up just a little bit more, that'll probably help his lifting and help his position, just to try and keep the chest up. Now, what's happening here is as soon as he gets to the knee, it's doing well, keeping the bar close, tracing the thighs. And now what we want Jerry to do, instead of him driving backwards on his lighter weights with his back, this seems to be a common thing, we want to actually now, the knees are the last thing to straighten. We know that. I don't even know what I'm drawing at this point. But the knees are the last thing to straighten. So we want Jerry to now just violently lock those knees out to drive the bar up. But that doesn't really happen. So that's something we want to work on. We'll watch another lift and see what's going on. See if it's the same thing. So you can kind of see, same thing. I'm just pausing at that hip position where he would probably be extending, and the knees are bent, which is good. We want to delay knee extension so you can drive the bar, but you got to straighten them. You got to fully lock them out. So when it comes to Jerry's lifting, something that I want him to work on is working off the hang and just kind of get it used to that position. Now on the channel, I also spoke about clean deadlifts and how clean deadlifts, I think I did a short about it. And clean deadlifts, basically you stop mid-thigh, and this isn't a drill that's going to build you heaps amount of strength. It's just going to teach you body awareness. So even something like doing a tempo pull where you're going controlled off the floor to mid-thigh or whatever, and just trying to get used to those positions, and then you can drive and finish the pull off, and that's probably going to be quite useful. Hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video and you got something out of it. Maybe there's some cues or constraints or some progressions that I mentioned that you might be able to find helpful in your own lifting, and I hope you guys enjoyed that. Like I said earlier, if you would like to get featured on one of these episodes when I go through some of the lifts, and you would like to do one of the lifts that we break down, I'd be happy for you guys to send me a message on Instagram and we can go from there. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next one.